All right, today we're tackling an absolute titan of depreciation, the Mercedes CLS63 AMG. You know the one. It's got that stunning four-door coupe look, and stuffed under the hood is a hand-built twin-turbo V8 monster. It was a true masterpiece of German muscle. And now? Well, now it's temptingly, and I mean dangerously cheap. Think about this for a second. A car that cost well over $100,000 when it was new can be sitting in your driveway today for the price of a brand new Honda Civic. So the big question for this explainer is, why? How did $90,000 in value just disappear into thin air? Well, the answer is, complicated and very, very expensive. But first, let's talk about why you'd even want one. And believe me, the temptation is real. You're getting a hand-built 5.5-liter biturbo V8 straight from Alfalterbach, with a plaque signed by the actual engineer who put it together. On the later S models, we're talking 577 horsepower. It'll rocket this thing to 60 in just 3.4 seconds. I mean, come on, it's basically a four-door supercar for the price of a used Camry. And it's not just the numbers, right? The emotional side of it is just off the charts. The sound this M157 V8 makes is this deep, angry, thundering roar that'll give you chills. Every single startup is an event. And just look at it. The design is gorgeous and has aged so well. It has this incredible presence on the road. It's really, really easy to see how you could fall head over heels for this car. Okay, but here comes the big pivot. This is where the dream smacks right into the cold, hard wall of reality. We're talking physics, extreme heat, and ridiculously complex German engineering. So what happens when that factory warranty is a distant memory, and you are the one on the hook for keeping this beast alive? Let's start with the heart of the car itself, that M157 engine. It is an absolute marvel of engineering, but as it gets older, it becomes a financial black hole. Its biggest, most expensive secrets are buried deep inside, and they cost a fortune to get to. So critical flaw number one is all about its hot V design. The turbos are nestled right in the valley of the V8. It looks amazing, but it basically turns the whole area into an oven. The oil lines that feed the turbos run right through that oven, and over time the insane heat just bakes them until they become brittle and leak. And when they leak oil all over a scorching hot engine, which is a massive fire risk. Fixing it means taking the entire top half of the engine apart. And the price for that little oil line repair? A cool $8,000. Yeah, for a car you might have just paid $25,000 for. And let me be clear, this isn't some rare one-off failure. This is a well-known, very common issue for every single car with this engine. Oh, but it gets so much worse. If you actually drive the car hard, like an AMG is supposed to be driven, the factory head bolts have been known to stretch. When a bolt stretches, it can't hold the cylinder head down tight anymore. That leads to a blown head gasket, coolant and oil mixing together, and pretty much catastrophic engine failure that requires a full top-end rebuild. And the bill for that particular nightmare? It can easily hit $15,000. Just think about that. One single repair bill that costs more than half of what the entire car is worth. This is the exact kind of problem that makes people panic sell these cars for cheap at auctions. And it's not just the two giant car-killing problems. You've got a whole list of smaller issues that are still crazy expensive. The intake valves get clogged with carbon, and that's an $1,800 cleaning job. The swirl flap actuators in the intake fail, another $1,500. The high-pressure fuel pumps give out, that's $2,500. There are just no cheap repairs on this engine. Oh, and on top of everything else, the engine just drinks oil. Mercedes' official position is that burning a full quart of oil every 1,000 miles is within spec. Let me repeat that. They think that's normal. For a modern engine, that's absolutely wild, and it means you're constantly living the check oil life. Okay, so the engine is a minefield, but surely the rest of the car is better, right? Nope. I'm sorry to say, the financial pain is just getting started. All the complex systems that made this car a beast when it was new become huge liabilities as it gets older. Take the AMG speed shift transmission. It's the super advanced piece of kit that gives you lightning-fast shifts. But when it breaks big. The internal clutch pack can wear out, and that's a $6,000 job. The conductor plate, which is basically the transmission's brain, can fail for another $5,000. And here's the kicker. Mercedes originally told everyone the transmission fluid was lifetime fill. That was just flat out wrong. If you skip the $700 fluid change every 60,000 miles, you are basically asking for one of those multi-thousand-dollar failures. It's a classic case of pay a little now or pay a whole lot later. Now, for a universal truth of owning a high-end used Mercedes, the Airmatic suspension will fail. It's not a question of if, it's a question of when. The rubber airbags at each corner start leaking, which makes the compressor run nonstop until it just burns itself out. And just like that, your car is stranded, sitting on the ground. So what's it cost to replace all 4 air struts and the compressor with parts that won't fail again in a year? You're looking at a $9,000 bill. And you can't just ignore it. The car is undrivable without it. This is a non-negotiable, wallet-destroying repair that is waiting for every single person who buys one of these cars. And finally, we get to the last category of financial pain. I call this death by 1,000 cuts. This is where all the amazing, wonderful, complex luxury features that made the car cost $115,000 new decide to transform into their own unique 4-figure nightmares. The infotainment system's hard drive fails, bricking the whole unit? That's a $3,500 replacement. One of the fancy LED headlights goes out, $2,500 for one side. The sunroof drains get clogged with leaves and flood the inside of your car, frying electronics. That can easily be a $4,000 mess. Even a single soft-closed door motor failing can cost $2,500 to fix. It's just endless. So, let's step back and bring this all together. After all that, what does the real financial picture of owning one of these bargain AMGs actually look like? Let's play this out. You find a nice one. You pay $30,000 for it, and you're feeling on top of the world. Then, bam, you get hit with that headbolt issue. That's $15,000. A year later, the air suspension gives up. That's another $9,000. All of a sudden, your $30,000 car has actually cost you $54,000. And that's before the transmission or any of the electronics have even acted up. So is there any scenario where this makes sense? Well, maybe. You would have to find the absolute perfect car. We're talking a 2015 or newer facelifted S model with Airmatic. It would need to have super low miles, a perfect, fully documented service history from a Mercedes dealer, and, this is the big one, an active extended warranty. You're basically hunting for a unicorn. But for any other scenario, for the 99.9% of these cars that are actually out there for sale, the verdict is clear. It's unequivocal, and it's the only financially sane decision you can make. It is a buy. Here's the bottom line. Looking at all the common known failures, a typical owner should budget between $25,000 and $45,000 just for maintenance and repairs over 5 years. You are literally going to pay for the car twice. Once when you buy it, and again just to keep it running. And that leaves us with one last big question. The thrill of this car is undeniable. The design is beautiful, and the sound is something you'll never forget. But for a car you can pick up for $25,000 today, is that thrill really worth a potential $45,000 repair bill? You tell me.